My name's Max. I'm from Cheltenham in England, and I teach English in Shenyang at an education centre.
My name is Esther. I'm from Bristol in England, and I also teach in an English centre in Shenyang. It's quite a big city. Well, it's a very big city, not quite a big city. It's like an American city. There's lots of skyscrapers. It's quite industrial, so at times the pollution, especially in the winter, can be quite bad. But it's got a very homely feel. The first time we went out of Shenyang and then we came back was the first time it felt like, oh, we're coming home. And that was only 2 months in, so it has got quite a welcoming feel. A small expat group, but they're all quite tight. Everyone knows each other and very friendly and welcoming, always helping you when new people come. And the bars especially are really lovely. We're friends with one of the bar managers in a bar called Glasgow, and every time we come in they always say, oh, hi Esther, hi Max, and it's just nice to be recognised and always putting us in a seat, getting us some drinks, just really welcoming.
Great.
It's a very fast developing city as well. I think from what I've heard, I think say 10 years ago it would have looked nothing like this. They've kind of built out from the centre and they're still doing so. We live not far from the Olympic Centre, which is one metro stop down from us, and you can kind of see it's really developing very quickly. So I think in 10 years time from now, I think it's 8 million population at the moment, so I think that's just going to grow and grow.
I think it's quite a cheap city to live in.
Yeah.
Like there's loads of markets where you can get everything you need really, really cheap. We've managed to go on holiday every month that we've been here and still save about £200 a month each, so we've done really well with the savings and with travelling. We've gone out to the Grand Hyatt, which is a really fancy hotel, a couple of times and gone for a really fancy 3-course meal, bottle of wine, big duck that they come out and carve in front of you, and it's cost under £20 each, so it's so cheap. Probably on average 3 or 4 hours teaching a day. It was really quiet at the start because we were a new centre, so we had to wait until kids enrolled, which does take a while. Saturdays and Sundays are a lot busier because none of the kids are in school, but probably average about 3 hours, 3-4 hours. With the syllabus that we use, it doesn't require a lot of lesson planning because it's very straightforward and each lesson is very similar, especially early on when they're learning their sounds. You don't really need to plan, but then you get things sprung on you like a school play, which you have to do instead. So in the other 4 or 5 hours that you're not teaching, you're preparing costumes or you're writing a script for a play, but every day is different, as cliche as that sounds.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
I like how rewarding it is teaching the children. One of my little boys, when they first came along, couldn't even hold a pencil, and now he can write and blend words really beautifully, and just makes me proud and well up every time he does it well.
The children, I think they make, you can see the progress with them when you get children come in. You can barely speak any English, and as you see them develop, just like Esther, you can see her kid Leah holding a pencil, see them speak English to you and speak English back to them. You learn off them, they learn off you. Yeah, it's really nice. It makes every day worth going in for. I think the language barrier is always going to be probably the obvious one to pick, but I think between us, because we came over together, I think we developed it quite quickly. So we can get by day to day in a taxi or at a restaurant and stuff like that. But I think learning the language is
China is very disorganised, and that can be really frustrating sometimes. I remember in my first 3 months especially getting so angry and so upset when something was so last minute, and I thought, why can't you just tell me earlier? It's not hard, but you just kind of learn to accept it. Like there's still times when you will let it get to you, but you kind of, most of them you brush off.
We recommended a teacher to have some lessons with, so we try and have lessons every week. I find that I learn quite a bit off the children because a lot of them are too young to speak any English, so they'll sit and they'll just mutter Chinese to each other. So you kind of pick little things up off them, like what time does class finish?
We learned what the word rubber was in Chinese because they're always asking for it. Because you know what the Chinese is, you can say no, rubber, so they have to ask for it in English as well. But you do learn a lot of the children.
Without even when you're driving, if you're in a taxi and you look at the symbols, which 3 or 4 months ago would have been gibberish, but you can kind of pick certain words out, which is useful. And I think, learning it, I wholeheartedly recommend.
We can get by in 5 months, we can get by in any situation that we need to. It's very broken Chinese, but they understand what we mean, and they understand what we understand what they mean, and you can kind of get by.
Yeah.
In October we went to Shenyang, so we went to see the Terracotta Warriors, and we went at Mount Barshan, which is probably my favourite part. Really, really beautiful views. That was for my birthday in October, and then in November we went away for Max's birthday.
Shanghai was the city I wanted to go to just because it's Shanghai. So we went there for 4 days, which was enough. But probably, we were talking about our top 3 cities the other day, and I think it's probably one of the best cities I've ever been to, and I want to go back there very soon. So, we went there, and then we went to
Guilin for New Year. The what's the river called? The
Lee River.
Lee River and the Blue Mountains. So another beautiful place. And next month we've just booked a trip to fly into Guangzhou, and then we'll pop into Hong Kong and go up to the Zhangjiajie as well for Spring Festival.
There's lots, but mine's definitely fried dumplings.
Yeah.
We had them on our first day, and I think you were not quite sure, but we went to this other restaurant where they fry them, and I can't get enough of them.
Yeah.
I can eat them every day.
At the start I wasn't sure on them, and now I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah.
The more I have them, the more I like them. But my favourite dish is gobaro, which is like the sweet and sour sauce, but it's on pork, which is really thin and it's quite crispy. It's really yummy. Rewarding would be one of them.
Yeah,
I love
that's
it when
good.
my kids can, like when they can't read and then they suddenly get it for the first time. I remember jumping on the spot and clapping, and then I hugged my kid and thought, right, calm down, Esther, calm down.
I might steal that one. I might
Rewarding.
go. I'd say rewarding, hectic, and unpredictable. I think.
Yeah. Rewarding.
Tough. It's a tough one.
Is that kind of a word for good lifestyle? Like you live a good lifestyle, like here, you've got the money to do everything you want and save. It's not crazy. Like, it's not crazy. Like I'm not nowhere a millionaire, but if I want to go and do something, I don't have to worry. Oh God, can I afford this? Where at home, I think, well, I did that last weekend, so I can't do that this weekend. So, good lifestyle is one word. Yeah, unpredictable, because each day can be completely different. You can start off having a really, really good day, and then suddenly something can spring up upon you, and you're like, oh, China, why did you do this to me? But then later on that day, something could happen, and like one of your kids reads for the first time, and then you love China again.
Yeah.
It's very hit and miss.
Life is it's literally a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're getting. To come into it with an open mind is really important. I think it's easy to get. Culturally, it couldn't be any different to where we're from. So I think just to be as open-minded as possible, to understand that you will see people spitting in the street, you will get barged on the metro, you will struggle to get by language-wise day to day. But I think if you're good-humoured and open-minded, it can actually be quite a fun challenge. So I think that would be what I'd say.
Be aware of the fact that you will stick out like a sore thumb, and people might just walk past and take photos with you. One of my first weeks I was sat on the subway and this boy just started trying to take a selfie with me, and I could have been like, no, don't do that, but instead I just got in and smiled with his photo and just had a bit of a laugh about it. So just be open-minded and relaxed.
Even more so for Esther because she's blonde, and I think they take even more of it.
Yeah, some of the children recently have just started picking up my hair and smelling it and asking if they can eat it. No, you can't eat my hair. They're just suddenly obsessed with it. Yeah, it's quite cute.
I came over with kind of being more so a web designer and a merchandiser, and I think I'll probably go back and do that. This was a little bit of diversification for me, but I think on a positive sense I wouldn't let that put anyone off. I've come in and done something completely different to teaching, come in, I've become a teacher, and I really enjoy it. I've had a great time so far, and I'll continue to do so. But it's not what I'll do back in England. But it's made me make my mind up on what I would want to do in England, and that's not teaching.
We have just decided that we're going to stay for a second year as well, so we really do love it out here. I've only just graduated, so I've always been a bit torn on what to do. I was torn between doing a PGCE or coming to China, so I applied for both, and then thought, well, if I do a PGCE, I go straight into a job and I become a teacher, and I won't get this opportunity again. I'm glad that I came over and did this, because it's kind of made me realise, as much as I love teaching here, I don't think I want to be a teacher back in England. I love teaching the small classes here, and I love the respect that the little children have for you and how fascinated they are. And I was thinking about secondary education back in England, and I just don't think that would be for me anymore. I like the fact that the kids are so lovely, they're happy to see you, and I like the small classes. I've had to teach in a kindergarten for a few months, and it was a class of about 30 kids. They were crazy, and I just didn't enjoy it at all. I always wanted to come back and teach my classes of 4 or 5, so I don't think teaching would be for me, because you've either got the older kids that won't respect you like the children do here, or if you go into primary, then it's kind of similar to kindergarten. So it's a good lesson for me, really.